Vikings fans, what's going on? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and we're going to start off today's show with a concerning report coming out where it's suggesting that the Chicago Bears are targeting Brian Flores as their next coach. I got a lot of thoughts on that. Then the second half of today's show, how special has Sam Darnold been for our Minnesota Vikings? Got a lot of advanced stats to go through with you guys, and also want to highlight some of his top throws against the Falcons. And then also, K.J. Osborn, good old friend here. He was actually just waived by the New England Patriots, so it doesn't make sense for the Vikings to bring him in. We'll talk about all that and more on today's show. But let's start off with this. I woke up this morning feeling very grateful for the start that the Minnesota Vikings have had. So I want to ask you guys, what has been your favorite memory so far this season? Obviously, still got a lot of ways to go here. Still got two big games. There's the Packers and Lions, and obviously the playoffs. But if I had to pick my favorite memory so far, it would probably be jumping out 28-0 on the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field, and specifically the play where Darnold threw a back shoulder to Jefferson to get us up 28-0. That's what I'm going to go. But hey, you guys let me know your thoughts. What has been your favorite memory so far for this amazing Vikings season? So we got this report, and I'm feeling a type of way about it, but the Bears are targeting Brian Flores as their next head coach, and they have not, taken their cycle down to four guys, but they have four guys right now that is being reported that they are targeting. This was coming in from Dan McMeal of the Danny Mac Show, saying sources confirm these four coaches are on the Bears list for head coach. Ben Johnson, Brian Flores, Joe Brady, Bills OC, Mike Vrabel. They may want to talk to more candidates, but they're targeting these four. He'll get more as soon as I get it. And I'll tell you what, I had a lot of thoughts on this when I initially got this report because, one, it would suck for the Vikings to lose Brian Flores, as I think he has been the number one reason why this defense has been so successful. Then if he were to have to leave and go in the division and you got to play him twice a year, obviously I'm not going to be a big fan of that. So, my message to the ownership for the Minnesota Vikings, give him a blank check. Do whatever you can to keep him in Minnesota because he is a big reason why the Vikings are as good as they are so far this season. But let's just go over some stats for the defense and, why Flores is getting, this head coaching buzz right now. Now, the Vikings, unfortunately, gave up the league's best rush defense this past week. Now they dropped to number 2 in the National Football League. But points per game, top 6, only giving up 18.5 a game. And when Blake Cashman is in the lineup, the linebacker for the Vikings, they're actually, I believe, 10-0 right now, which is fantastic. That's a great stat for Blake Cashman. But, hey, 21st in yards per game, 29th in pass yards per game. But a lot of that, just is because teams early on in the season were fighting an uphill battle. And, obviously they're going to throw the ball a whole lot more. But, listen, it even goes deeper for that for the Minnesota Vikings defense. Sacks, they're 4th in the league. PFF grades them as the 12th best defense in the league, and they're 2nd in takeaways. And what makes up a championship defense? You got to stop the run. You got to get pressure on the quarterback, and you got to take the football away. The Vikings are top 4 in all of those statistical categories. So it makes a lot of sense on why Flores is getting head coaching buzz. But like I was just saying, if I'm the Minnesota Vikings and I'm the Wilfs, I am giving Flores a blank check. Now, obviously, you're not going to pay him $50 million a year, but what if you just get him a 3-year, $10 million per year, contract where he is the highest paid coordinator in the league? And, my pitch to Brian Flores would be this, is clearly the Vikings this last free agency cycle. They were bringing in players that were perfect scheme fits for what you like to do. So I don't know if maybe they had maybe a handshake agreement where it's like, hey, if we go sign all these guys and you have this defense playing at a very high level, we will extend you for a multi-year, very, lucrative contract. But you think about Andrew Van Ginkel. What's the buzzword with Brian Flores? Versatility. Well, Andrew Van Ginkel is one of the most versatile players in the National Football League. Even look at our safety position, the three-headed monster we have of Harrison Smith, Cam Bynum, Josh Metellus. All of those guys are extremely, extremely versatile players. So, Flores, I think he could be successful, wherever he would go defensively. But also, if you're Flores, do you want to go to Chicago, deal with an organization that just hasn't been well run over the past couple of years? You want to deal with Kevin Warren, where when you're with the Minnesota Vikings, you got great ownership, great front office, you have a great head coach, and Kevin O'Connell has allowed Flores to get up, talk to the media every week that not every coordinator in the NFL does. And I think it's kind of Kevin O'Connell helping Flores, get his pitch out there on why he should be a head coach. But if I were Flores, obviously I'm biased when I'm saying this, but I would stick around in Minnesota and, just see the max potential and kind of see that out on how truly special this defense can be, because I also want to highlight some other guys here. I mean, Flores, Grenard's a great player, but I think Flores is getting the most out of him, and the year Van Ginkel's having. I mean, 15 TFLs, 9.5 sacks, almost 50 tackles on the year, and he also has 2 pick sixes. He should have had another one this past week versus the Atlanta Falcons. But specifically with the Bears here, man, I'll tell you what, I would not love going against Flores 2 times a year, but could the Flores-Caleb Williams relationship work? That's what I would be thinking about from the Bears' perspective of this whole thing. But I think they, obviously Chicago, what's kind of been their bread and butter throughout their franchise's history, it's been defense. I mean, the monsters of the Midway, we know that whole story there. But I just don't think the Bears, if I had to call it, I would say they're going to lean an offensive guy or a culture-setting guy. And Flores necessarily, he could be a culture setter, but, they would probably lean a guy like Vrabel, Ben Johnson, even a guy like Joe Brady over Flores, in my opinion. And, I do want to just show you guys this real quick. I made this graphic just talking about the Vikings defense over the last 3 games because they have definitely taken a step back. Now, I want to highlight the rush yards specifically the last 2 weeks, and this, a big reason, is not having Ivan Pace Jr. in the lineup, why you're almost giving up 156 rush yards per game over the last 2 weeks. But, hey, you haven't held a team to under 20 over the last 3 games, almost giving up 450 yards per game, 130-something on the ground over the last 3 weeks. So this defense is definitely, taken a step back. But still, Flores, I mean, the Vikings need to keep him no matter what. So I don't know what to really make of this. Will he want to go to Chicago? Will Chicago want him? All I know here from the Vikings perspective, we want Brian Flores here. So let's show him some love. Give me those skull flows down below in the comment section. Show our DC some love because he has been, the catalyst to the Vikings being 11-2 on the season. So show him some love. Type those skull flows down below. Now, I do want to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Public Rec. And guys, stop the suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT20 at checkout. That's 20% off with the code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. And after you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you here at Vikings Now. Now, guys, if you guys like dressing comfortable but also looking good, Public Rec is the spot to go to. And listen, let's be real. Wearing nice pants kind of sucks. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric squeezing your family jewels was the key to looking sharp? Well, here's an early holiday gift from me to you. Those days are finally over. Public Rec's Daymaker pants are here to help you stay comfy and classy this season. They feel like your favorite sweats, but they look like tailored pants. Yep. Super stretchy with an elastic waistband so you can rock them anywhere. And I'm actually rocking one of their hoodies right now. It is super comfortable. My girlfriend was giving me all types of compliments when I was coming home wearing this. So, if you guys want to, get the same love from whether it's your wife, girlfriend, whatever it may be, Public Rec, great way to do so. So stop the suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season. For a limited time, our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT20 at checkout. That's 20% off with the code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you here at Vikings Now. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you have found Public Rec. I'll have that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show, but please check them out, support the show, and give a great gift for the holiday season. So, all right, let's talk about it. KJ Osborn, should the Vikings bring him back? Short answer for this, I'm going to probably say no, but I do want to look back and just look at, some of KJ's fondest memories with the Minnesota Vikings, because he was a good wide receiver 3 for us. I don't ever think he was great, and he went to New England trying to have an increased role, and they never really gave that to him. But when I think of KJ Osborn and the Minnesota Vikings, I think about that 33-0 comeback versus the Indianapolis Colts, and he had a phenomenal game, man. I mean, 10 receptions, 157 yards, 1 touchdown. Like, KJ was the catalyst to the Vikings sparking the greatest comeback in NFL history. So, listen, my take on, KJ, should they bring him back? I already had some people reach out to me. There is really no need for KJ on this roster. Like, you think about the wide receiver 3 position, it's kind of a rotation of Brandon Powell, Jalen Nailor, and Trent Sherfield. And, Trent Sherfield, a great run-blocking wide receiver. Brandon Powell, a great possession receiver, and Jalen Naylor, kind of that, speedy Naylor, that guy that can take the top off the defense. KJ, does he fall into any one of those buckets? He's more of an all-around guy, and plus, like, if you're going to add another receiver to this roster, I would rather just go a guy like Tristan Jackson. I'm a big fan of him. He's worked his tail off for this organization, so I would rather lean that way. But, KJ, it would be cool to bring him back. I think it's incredibly, incredibly unlikely, but you never know. Maybe Kwesi wants to bring him back. But, hey, I'm going to say pass on this, but I'll ask you guys. Would you sign KJ Osborn? Give me an S for sign or give me a P for pass down below in the comment section. All right, let's show some love to the man of the hour, Sam Darnold. And I'm still seeing it everywhere. Like, I saw a poll out there on Twitter. Who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings? Or who do you want to be the starting QB for the Vikings next season? I saw it was like 70% in favor of J.J. McCarthy. And I just hope everybody, really gets the full picture of what Darnold has done this season. Because he has truly been awesome. Like, this isn't a situation where it's like, oh, the Vikings are all about run game and defense, and it's like Darnold's not throwing the ball a whole lot, and, that's the reason why they're 11-2. No, the reason the Vikings are 11-2 is, yes, a very, very good defense, but also the passing attack offensively. Like Darnold, big-time throws this season. He's tied for first with Josh Allen. Big-time throw percentage, tied for first with Josh Allen. His average depth of target, third, so he's pushing the ball down the field. Adjusting completion percentage, that's fourth, and this is a guy who came into this year only really averaging around 60% in terms of his completion percentage, and Kevin O'Connell has worked that out of him. And also, I'm a firm believer in this is we have not seen the best out of Darnold just yet. I think he's just going to keep on getting better, and why I love him so much? He pushes the football down the field. Now, yes, that does lead to interceptions and turnover-worthy plays, but hey, first in 20-plus air yard throws, 27 out of 51 completion per attempts. Second in completion percentage, first in touchdowns. He's really been awesome. And, the MVP favorite right now is Josh Allen at minus 400. But if you look at the stats of these two guys, it's, pretty similar here. Obviously, Allen, the better dual threat. I no doubt would take Josh Allen over Sam Darnold. That's not the argument I'm trying to make here. But the argument that I am trying to make is Darnold is playing some great football. And if you didn't have the Vikings bias, the Sam Darnold blinders, this man would most likely be in the running for the MVP conversation. I mean, right now he's 6 in odds. He should be right behind Allen, in my opinion, to get that award. But I do want to highlight a couple plays here from the game against the Falcons, and we can start off with the unbelievable play. When Darnold was scrambling around, this is how the play started off, and Darnold immediately had pressure in his face, took off left, stepped up in the pocket, and what I love about this throw is the platform he had when he was letting it go. I mean, right here, off his back right foot, just chucks it up in the air, and then shot out to the Falcons DB for completely falling over on this, and it was Justin Jefferson wide open. But in my opinion, I don't think that was his best throw of the game. I think it was this deep shot to Jordan Addison. So similar formation in the gun, 3 pass catchers to the wide side of the field, and then Darnold, if you guys look, where Addison is right here. He's at the 45-yard line. Keep that in mind. And Darnold is releasing the football right now. And look at where Addison ends up catching this. So see right here, he's at the 45-yard line. He ends up catching this at the 20 where Darnold is releasing it. It was a hell of a tracking job by Addison. Give him credit there. But, my favorite part of this play, look at Darnold's base when he's throwing this football. He has a dude all over him, back foot, just chucking it up there, giving his playmaker a chance. And, he's just really, really been special for the Vikings. And I don't want us to, take this for granted because the whole point of this whole shebang is just to find that quarterback. So I'll ask you guys this. Would you extend Sam Darnold? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down below in the comment section. See you guys next time. Let's go Vikes.